Am I audible to everyone?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, my video somehow it's telling me failed to start the video camera. Ensure that no other apps are using the camera and then try again. I don't know which app is using the video. Okay, if I use this.
आपका वीडियो आ गया प्रभु जी अभी.
Am I audible now?
हाँ हाँ ऑडिबल भी है वो आप.
Okay. Oh, nice to see most of the devotees here. Somehow came running from GV. GV for ACM meetings. Yeah, Maharaj session is going on. Initiation got over. Yeah. Maharaj is coming tomorrow. Yes. For Lakshmi Narayan. And then also in Ram. See, I had an option to take it online, but I thought to be in the front only to speak. I prefer that. So we'll start. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयदापदकमलं श्रीगुरोन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. सप्तकांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे.
प्रभु जी आपका आवाज म्यूट हो गया.
So right now we are in chapter number 2. Okay. So now Krishna also said to Arjuna that he will start chapter 2. No, no. Then what did he say? Let's take a break. Then how this second chapter started? How long this Gita conversation went? 45 1 hour, right? You see, we will recite this verse. It takes 15 minutes, right? If we recite 20-25 verses. Huh? Yeah. Started. So the last verse was
Prabhuji, your voice is breaking.
And sat down on the chariot, his mind overwhelmed with grief. So he said, he just kept aside his bow and arrow. Right? The bow did not like fell off. Right? What was the symptoms of Arjuna when he saw the people around, his own kinsmen? वेपतुश्च शरीरे में रोमहर्ष से जायते गांडीव शस्त्र से हस्ता. Gandiv is खिसक रहा है. It's like falling down. It did not fell down. It's like, and then here he kept aside. It's not that it has fallen, right? So sometimes when somebody gets really overgripped, then things get fallen down. Like Rukmini, when he heard Krishna telling him, "Oh, why you did a mistake marrying me? There were many other princes or the prince whom you would have married." And then Rukmini, hearing that, what feared that Krishna will leave me. So her body started trembling, mouth became dry, and what happened? Finally, she fell down, just like a bamboo tree. When it falls, how it falls? Straight. She suddenly collapsed. But here, Arjuna, his situation, he kept aside the Gandiva. He did not fell like. Symptoms were there all. Right? That symptom of Rukmini was because of the missing of Krishna, thinking of going away from Krishna. But here, Arjuna's situation was, his grief was because of mere weakness of the heart. And he was thinking whether to fight or not fight. He was not sure whether to fight or not fight. So both things were there. Because he said, take me in the middle of the battlefield. That means he decided to fight. But then now seeing his own people, kind of doubt started arising, whether to fight or not fight. Therefore, he kept aside. Thus, having spoken on the battlefield, cast aside his bow and arrow and sat down. He kept aside his bow and arrow and then sat down. His mind overwhelmed with grief. He just sat aside. What happened? Time went by. Krishna is just waiting. He also sat, kept aside his bow. So time went by. So that's how Acharya thought, let the chapter end here. New chapter. Some time went by. So let the new chapter begin. And then the verse which then Sanjay speaks. Tam tata kripaya vistam ashru purna akula ikshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. And then Sri Bhagavan uvacha. Then Krishna starts speaking. So Krishna does not speak unless and until one becomes eligible to hear or one is willing to listen. Arjuna said he will not fight. He kept aside his bow and arrow. He was not willing to fight. So then Sanjay is telling, Tam tatha kripaya vistam. Unto that tam tatha. Tam is the previous person. Tam. Unto him. Unto whom? Arjuna. The talk is going on between Arjuna and Krishna. So tam tatha, in that way, kripaya avistam. Avistam is overcome with kripaya. One who is overcome with what? Kripaya, the compassion. So unto Arjuna, who is overcome with compassion. Tam tata kripaya wisdom. Ashru purna akulikshanam. Ashru purna. Is filled with tears. Ikshanam on his eyes. Vishidantam. One who is lamenting. Vishidantam idam vakyam. These words. Uvacha spoke. Madhusudana. Madhusudana. So Arjuna was not. Arjuna just said that he will not fight. In fact, he kept aside his bow and arrow. He gave the reason for not fighting, right? So he is kind of not ready to listen in one sense. Why? Because he had so much doubt. He already decided in the mind that why should I fight? He gave so many reasons. So all this is like a not proper thing. So this is like the demons in the mind. Doubts are like the demons in the mind. So similarly here he is telling, Sanjay is telling, unto that Arjuna who is filled with the demons in the mind, Uvacha Madhusudana. Madhusudana is Krishna who killed the demon Madhusudana. So here Krishna is now going to kill the doubts of Arjuna were like demons. Sanjay is telling to whom? Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra may think, oh wow, Sanjay Arjuna gave aside his bow and arrow. He's not going to fight. So nice. But Sanjay is telling Dhritarashtra, no. Unto that lamenting Arjuna, who spoke? The remover of doubt, the slayer of doubt, the killer of doubt. Who is that? Madhusudana. See how beautifully Prabhupada writes. Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all the sign of ignorance of the real self. Material compassion. Is compassion good or bad? Depends on what one is having compassion. Prabhupada writes, if somebody is having compassion on the body, which is compared to like the outer dress. If a man is drowning and somebody says, oh, this coat, he's wearing that coat, such a costly coat, and tries to save that coat, he'll be foolish. Right? But compassion on the person who is drowning. So compassion on the bodily concept of life is compared to that of a saving the or having compassion on the dress, outer dress of a drowning man. So material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all sign of the ignorance. Compassion for the eternal soul is the self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this word. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that has overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of nescience cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, that is the gross material body. One who does not know and laments for the outward dress is called Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. So who is Shudra? Shudra is the one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs us in the self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul as explained by the Supreme Authority Lord Krishna. So in the first verse, Prabhupada is saying, this chapter describes what? It instructs us in the self-realization by the analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul. So this analytical study is also known as a Sankhya Yoga. What is it called? Sankhya Yoga. What does that Sankhya Yoga means? Analytical study of the body and the spirit soul. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive result and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self. How does this realization work? This realization, I am not this body, I am spirit soul, or the difference between this will happen when one works without attachment to fruitive result. This realization, how it comes? It comes as a result of working without attachment. That is Nishkam Karma Yoga. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is thus situated in the fixed conception of the real self. And when can one work without attachment? When one is fixed or trying to be fixed in the conception of the real self, that I am the spirit soul, I am not the body. It's my duty to do my work without expectation of the result that will land up in the realization of the spirit soul or self-realization. Okay, any questions still for chapter 1? Or we move before we move forward? Yeah, I saw that, but I did not hear somehow. Sorry. Yes.
So that's said that 10 days war was already. 10 days war over. And we should was already on the
Arrows.
And at that time, Vikraj was saying that when it starts explaining checks. But what I had done for I had asked about classes. I mean, what I understanding was that Sanjay and Vikraj were already speaking Paris, and the war was going on. And from the beginning, this first chapter has started. But the stage which we got from you is totally different. So I have questions. One, where was Sanjay for first 10 years?
He was in the battlefield.
But he was not fighting.
He was fighting also.
He was fighting also.
Yeah, otherwise, why will he go to the battlefield?
I think you had said that he was not killed. He was the only one who outside was not. Sanjay?
Sanjay, na?
Yeah.
Yeah, on the Kaurav side, no, there were Ashwathama, then Ashwathama, and then who? Kripacharya. They are Chiranjeevs.
Okay, Ashwatthama is a different story because his money was taken out and he is the time, right?
Yeah, but it's not like from the Kaurav side all died. Those who are Chiranjeev did not die.
So, Sanjay was died or not?
Sanjay, of course, no. Otherwise, how he will speak?
He was from the Kauru side. But he was caught in the battlefield.
He was
He was caught in the
caught in the battlefield.
उसको पकड़ लिया गया था ऐसा था
No, he was about to be killed, but then Vyasdev told to not to relieve him. So he was not killed.
was Sanjay for one country. You said he was already in the from the beginning he was in the battlefield.
Yes, and he would come at times and tell to the Dhritarashtra what was going on. He would tell to the Dhritarashtra now and then what was happening.
Okay, so he was in the battlefield.
He was participating, and whenever he would get time, he would go, give the message. And then on the 10th day, when major thing happened, because before that, not many of them killed, right? No one, not a major person was killed. On the 10th day, when Bhishma was killed, at that time, both the parties decided not to fight because of the respect for the Bhishma Pitama. Taking that opportunity, Sanjay went again to Hastinapur and gave that news. Bhishma fell down. And Dhritarashtra, oh my God, tell me. Then he started speaking these verses. Yes.
So tell us what where is that because if somebody asks me the question, if I give the same statement.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. This is written by Jita Mitra Prabhu. Jita Mitra Prabhu from Delhi. He is like a kind of a sannyasi only. But since last many years, he's a very senior devotee. He has written a book. In that it is mentioned. And he also refers to the scriptures only. He has not mentioned he has taken from this, but he has spoken this. No, that he has not given. But he whatever he speaks from the say Mahabharata or some other scriptures. So I can assure you that. Otherwise, why will see you said that according to you, right? According you thought, right?
What I don't think this is what we saw it was terrible. There was a serial also.
See, serial, no, the serial is not a authority. Serial is like, it's a commercial thing. They have to add masala. So serial is not a bona fide source. But if you want a bona fide source, then Jita Mitra Prabhu's book is there. Yeah. Hindi. Yes. For one chapter, there is one book. For second chapter, there are two books. Not every chapter, two books. One chapter, one book. Second chapter, two books. Like this. So he has mentioned.
Prabhuji, what is the name of the book?
He can telecast live also. Because he has that vision.
But Gita is not just live. Gita is how it happened. How Sanjay
Yes.
was in doubt. That's what it is.
Yes.
So when Arjuna told Lord Krishna that take the chariot in the middle of the armies, he was stepping on the towers. Sanjay.
Huh.
And he could hear.
Yes.
That he nobody else
See.
could hear what was happening.
Huh?
Second because he has special powers.
Yes. And in the mid, when they are talking, it could be heard by everyone.
Sorry.
See, when both were in the middle, everybody was seeing that they are conversing.
But what they were conversing, was they able to
Be- No, because it's quite far away, no? It's quite far away. Not everybody could hear. But Sanjay can hear everyone's speech.
the other people also?
Other people also, anyone, whoever. Yes. Not even speech, what they are thinking, that also. Yes, Prabhu, any.
This is first word when we start. Ashwa speaks. Because of the 10th day of the fall, when is by was not the first day. It was not, he didn't ask. He asked some. What I thought it was on the first day. While and Sanjay is still giving that, he can see and he is then seeing what is happening. Right?
Okay, most of us have the same,
Yeah.
Yeah.
feeling and same,
Therefore, it's not being spoken, just to keep it simple. Otherwise, how he was not participating? You see, when did he go? All this detail. Point is, he has got a divine vision. He can even recollect and say,
It was given by God.
yes. See, Vyasdev divine vision, he can see from any spot, anyone's mind, he can read and he can tell. Right? Because that power was given.
After the 10th day of Hastinapur,
Ah.
and then
Dhritarashtra asked this. Yes. Yes. That's the exact thing. But to keep it simple, somebody may say that, oh yeah, Sanjay is sitting, Dhritarashtra is sitting, war is going on, and they convey. Makes it simple, no other question.
that is what we were.
Yeah. So somebody may say like this. To keep it very simple. Right?
But it is not like that.
See, but it not mean I'm telling you the exact event which unfolded.
Yeah.
Right? Important is not when did he say, how did he say. Important is what did he say. Then message is important. Exactly what happened, what exactly happened, that is not that much important. Right? So if some speaker says that, yeah, it is like Sanjay telling to Dhritarashtra what happened and that was happening there. You may say, no, it is not like that. It's not a big, as if something big. It's okay. It does not matter. Point is, he was given that vision, which even if it is they both are sitting and talking, they will say the same thing. And even if it after 10 days he has went there and he's speaking, same thing. Isn't it?
Prabhuji, what is the name of the book?
Jita Mitra. Jita Amrita nahi, Jita Mitra. Yeah, actually it's a Jita Amrita. But when you make a sandhi of this, Jita Amrita is Jita Mitra. श्री भगवान ने कहा. Yes. Any other questions?
Prabhuji, what is the name of the book? Are you able to hear me, Prabhuji?
Gita Jayanti day when that message, when that conversation happened. Yes. Morning time. Sunrise time. Before that, all the arrangement was done. Okay, we'll recite the verses. Sanjay Vacha Tam Tata Kripayavistam Ashru Purna Kulekshanam Vishidantamidam Vakyam Vacha Madhusudana Shri Bhagavan Vacha Utasva Kashmalamidam Vishme Samupastitam Anaryajustam Aswargyam Akirti Karam Arjuna Klaibyam Asmagama Partha Naetatvai Upapadyate रुद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्तोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप अर्जुन उवाच कथं भीष्ममहं सङ्ख्ये द्रोणं च मधुसूदन ईशुभिः प्रतियोत्स्यामि पूजाहार्वरिसूदन गुरून् हत्वा हि महानुभावान् श्रेयो भोक्तुं वैक्षमपीह लोके हत्वार्थकामांस्तु गुरूनिहैव भुञ्जीय भोगान् रुधिरप्रदिग्धान् न चेतद्विदमकतरन्न गर्यो यद्वा जयेम यदि वा नु जयेयुः ज्ञानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामः ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे धातराष्ट्रः कार्पण्यदोषो उपहता स्वभावा पृच्छामि त्वां धर्मसमूढचेतः यश्रेयस्यानिश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधिमां त्वां प्रपन्नम् न हि प्रपश्यामि ममापनुद्यात् यच्चोकमुच्चोषणमिन्द्रियाणाम् अवाप्य भूमा वसपत्नमृद्धम् राज्यं सुराणामपि चाधिपत्यम् संजय उवाच एवमुक्त्वा ऋषिकेशम् गुडाकेशः परन्तपः न योत्स्य इति गोविन्दम् उक्त्वा तूष्णीं बभूवः तमुवाच ऋषिकेशः प्रसन्न इव भारत सेनयोरुभयोर्मध्ये विषिदन्तम् इदं वचः हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे श्री भगवान उवाच वर्ष 2 कुतस्त्वाकश्मलम् इदं विषमे समुपस्थितम् अनार्यजुष्टम् अस्वर्गम् अकीर्तिकरम् अर्जुन कुतस्त्वा kutah means from where kashmalam idam malam means contamination idam this mala what is that mala which Krishna is referring to vishame samupastitam and that too in this visha in this hour of crisis vishame samupastitam one is the place and then the time in this hour of crisis right so at this time what is the time period which is going on during that time what was the time period where Krishna is telling is samay huh sunrise was the time but then Krishna is telling at this time you are telling huh raise your hand and then speak yes
War is going on. Takes time.
yeah but the war is going on and then you are lamenting at this time right so this malam kashmalam this contamination which Krishna is referring to is regarding his lamentation why it is regarding to his lamentation which are the verses which says that this is regarding the lamentation because previously from 18th verse I guess is talking in that way not from 18th 28 दृष्ट्वा स्वजनम कृष्ण युयुत्सम समुपस्थितम सिदंति मम गात्राणि मुखम च परिशुष्यति. Like it's telling, seeing this is happening, and then I feel I should not fight. This will happen, sin will overcome us. It's all this lamentation. So seeing that, Krishna is telling at this hour of crisis, Vishame. So that means the time is also important and place also. The place is Kurukshetra, the war field, and the time of battlefield. We are talking this. Anarya Justam. It is befitting to whom? Anarya. Prabhupada tells here who is Anarya. So, Anarya Justam. Anarya means a person who does not know the value of life. One who does not know the value of life. Anarya Justam Aswargyam. It does not lead to the higher planets. Swargaloka. Aswargyam. Akirtikaram. It also leads to the infamy. Akirtikaram Arjuna. So Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here comes the first time Sri Bhagwan Vacha. So Prabhupada takes this word and writes few paragraphs regarding the Sri Bhagwan Vacha. This word Bhagwan, Sri Bhagwan, and then Krishna is identical. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. And then he gives the definition of Bhagwan by Parashar Muni. Right? Then he also quotes from Brahma Samhita, wherein Brahmaji says, who is the Supreme Lord? Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Then he also quotes from Bhagavatam, wherein he says that how Krishna is the Supreme Lord. So in that Bhagavatam, first canto, it is mentioned that there are so many avatars, and the name is also given. And of that, all these avatars, Krishna is the Swayam Bhagwan. He is the Supreme Original Person. So, Etecham Shakarapumsam Krishnastu Bhagwan Swayam. So that verse is also quoted. So these all verses are quoted to tell that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. When one says that Sri Bhagwan Uvacha, it is referring to Krishna, to not to Sri Ram or any other personality. So only referring to Krishna. And as such in Mahabharata war, of course, Krishna is present. Right? So, should we read this paragraph, or as a homework, we can read and come? How many of you have read this already? Oh, that's nice. I would request you to read before coming all the verses. At least half the chapter you can read, because you'll cover half the chapter. So that will become easy. So here Prabhupada starts by saying that he quotes Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, 11th verse, wherein it says that when you talk of Bhagwan, that Bhagwan can be known by the three aspects. Vadanti te tattva vidas tattvam yadhyana advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagwaniti shabdyate. So three aspects of the absolute truth is being spoken. One is Brahman, second is Paramatma, and third is Bhagwan. And he gives the analogy to understand this concept by the analogy of a sun disk and the sun planet. What you see, the sun is the sunlight, which is compared with the Brahman. Second is the sun surface, which is compared with the Paramatma. And third is the sun planet, where there are sun god, then his servants all staying. That is, the sun planet is compared to the Bhagwan aspect of the Lord. Okay. Yeah. So last paragraph. After explaining this Bhagwan, he says, therefore, Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, the source of both the super soul and the impersonal Brahman. And after that, he says, in the presence of supreme personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming And therefore Krishna expresses surprise with the word Kuta, wherefrom such impurities were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of a man known as Aryans. The word Aryan is applicable to the person who knows the value of life and have a civilization based on the spiritual realization. Very important. Person who are led by the material concept of the life do not know that the aim of the life is realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu or Bhagwan, and they are captivated by the external features of the material world, and therefore they do not know what the liberation is. Person who have no knowledge of the liberation from the material bondage are called non-Aryans. Although Arjuna was a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties by declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from the duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one the opportunity to become famous in the world. Lord Krishna did not approve of the so-called compassion of the Arjuna for his kinsman. So out of compassion, Krishna is telling to his friend, Utasva kashmalamidam, Vishame samupasritam. And then he says, third verse, wherein he says, Klaibyam masma gama partha na etatvai upapadyate shudram hriday dorbalyam tyakta uttista parantapa. O son of Pritha, do not yield to this degrading importance. It does not become you. Give up such pity, weakness of heart, and arise, O chastiser of enemy. So here Prabhupada says that this Arjuna is addressed here as Pritha, who happened to be a sister of Krishna's father Vasudeva. Therefore, Arjuna had a blood relationship with Krishna. If a son of Kshatriya declines to fight, he is a Kshatriya in name only. And if a son of Brahmana acts impiously, he is a Brahmana in name only. Such Kshatriyas and Brahmanas are unworthy son of their fathers. Therefore, Krishna did not want Arjuna to become an unworthy son of Kshatriya. Arjuna was most intimate friend of Krishna, and Krishna was directly guiding him on the chariot. But in spite of all these credits, if Arjuna abandoned the battle, he would be committing an infamous act. Therefore, Krishna said that such an attitude in Arjuna did not fit his personality. Right? Klaibyam masmagama partha. So klaibyam is like importance. Hijra. Is like chastising him. Klaibyam masmava. Don't yield to this impotence. It does not befit you. But then Arjuna may say that, oh, but they are my seniors. I'm compassionate towards them. Right? They are my seniors. I'm compassionate towards them. So then Krishna is telling that not the compassion. It's a hridaya dorbalyam. It's a weakness of heart. The Arjuna might argue that he would give up the battle on the ground of magnanimous attitude for most respectable Bhishma and his relatives. But Krishna considered that sort of magnanimity as a mere weakness of the heart. Right? Some may argue that Arjuna is such a good person. He is not willing to, he does not want to unnecessarily fight. Some may put forward this. Why to unnecessarily fight? After all, they are your seniors. Why should one fight? Such a good fellow. But Krishna is saying no. That's a weakness of heart. There is supposed to fight, one should fight. So this is weakness of heart. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam vyakta autista parantapa. Therefore, get up and fight. And see the word he is using to call Arjuna as a parantapa. Parantapa means one who gives tap. One who chastises or one who gives tap to the other people. That is parantapa. Verse 4. Arjuna uvacha katam vishmam aham sankhe dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pratiyotsyami pujaharari sudana. Now Arjuna may say, okay, it's a weakness of heart. Shudram hridaya dorbalyam. So he's telling, but how can I fight with my seniors? Katham vishmam aham sankhe. In this battlefield, sankhe means this warfield. Katham, how can I fight with whom? Bhishmam and Pitamaha. Bhishmam and Dronam. They are not ordinary people. They are not ordinary people. Will you fight if your own guru, who was his guru? Sandipani. And your grandfather, who was his grandfather? Huh? Who was his grandfather? Grandfather was a king.
Same.
Was a king. Okay, so he's telling, will you fight his grandfather Ugrasen and your guru Sandipani Muni? Isn't it? So he's telling, so Bhishma and Drona, how can I fight? So therefore he's telling, Katam Bhishmam Am Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami. Ishu means arrows. You know, like in the previous verse, Mahesh Vasaha Maha Ishu Asa. Asa means Asan. Asan of Ishu. So what is the Asan of Ishu? Bow. So Maha Ishu Asa means great bow. Holder of the great bow. Maha Ishu Asa. Mahesh Vasaha means one who holds the great bow on which arrows are being strung. Right? Maha Ishu Asa. Ishu means arrow. So similarly here, Ishu bhi pratiyotsyami. Ishu bhi means with arrow. How can I counteract them with the arrows? Ishu bhi pratiyotsyami. Puja har arisudana. How are they? They are worshipable. Puja har arisudana. O killer of the enemies. So that's what Prabhupada mentions. Respectable superiors like Bhishma and grandfather Dronacharya, the teacher, are always worshipable. Even if they attack with, they should not be counter-attacked. It is general etiquette that the superiors are not to be offered even a verbal fight. Even if they are sometimes harsh in behavior, they should not be harshly treated. Then how is it possible for Arjuna to counter-attack them? Would Krishna ever attack his own grandfather, Ugrasen, or his teacher Sandipani Muni? These were some of the arguments offered by Arjuna to Krishna. How was this argument? Good argument, na? Logical. Were they right or wrong? Huh? But then, so should the senior, if our seniors meant something like this, or they speak harshly, then should they be attacked, counter-attacked?
It could be said about do something which is a dharma.
Ah. Krishna will fight with them also. Any example where Krishna in Gaur Lila, where his own senior in the level of his guru, he hit him, punched him. Huh? Advaita Acharya. Right? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu hit him, went on the stage and pulled him down and beat him. And imagine Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pulled Advaita Acharya. And Advaita Acharya was initiated by Madhvendra Puri, who is also, and whose disciple is Ishwar Puri, from whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took Diksha. So, such a senior, and he beat him. Why? Because he was preaching Mayavad philosophy. Huh? That was different, but when he did like that, so even if adharma is being spoken, or then one has to take action. So otherwise, see the argument which Bhishma. Now we know that Krishna wanted to fight, and Krishna is always right. But suppose if the situation is such of Arjuna, and he tells her, how can one fight? Then we feel that, oh yeah, one should not fight. Such a situation, we cannot know. So therefore, spiritual master is needed. Now we know that, yeah, he should have fought this war. Because we know Gita mein Krishna is telling every now and then that it's your duty to fight. So no matter whatever argument Krishna comes up with, but then individually if we see the argument which Arjuna is speaking, it's really tough whether to fight or not to fight. And then see now, fifth verse, what is telling? Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavan shreyo bhoktum vaikshamapi haloke atvartha kamastu guruni haiva punjiya bhogan rudira pradigdan. Gurun ahatva hi mahanubhavan. So Gurun means the superior. Many gurus, right? The superiors. Ahatva, not killing. Hi mahanubhavan. So maha great souls. Shreyo, they are telling is better. What? Bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke. So instead of killing the gurus, is better what? Bhoktum bhaiksham apiha loke. Bhoktum means staying with a bhiksha as a beggar. Because if they don't fight, they will not get the kingdom. They will not collect the tax. Then how will they eat? Bhiksha only. So it is better, Shreya, than killing the gurus. Atva artha kamas tu guruni haiva. Atva artha kamas. Even if they are wanting artha kaman, desiring, even though desiring worldly gains, the guru is desiring worldly gains, right? Therefore, they are fighting on the side of adharma. So, hatva artha kamas tu guruni haiva. Although they are desiring worldly gains, still bhunjiya bhogan rudira pratigdan. If we kill them and win the war, then that enjoyment that we'll get will be tainted by the blood of the superior. That is the argument he's telling. So Prabhupada tells that according to the scriptural codes, a teacher who engages in abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. According to scriptural code, a teacher who engages in an abominable action and has lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Bhishma and Drona were obliged to take the side of Duryodhana because of his financial assistance, although they should not have accepted such a position simply on financial considerations. Under the circumstances, they have lost the respectability of the teachers. But Arjuna thinks that nevertheless they remain his superiors, and therefore to enjoy material profits after killing them would mean to enjoy spoils tainted with blood. Therefore, one has to be careful as a guru if they take any financial assistance unnecessarily. Then what happens? Obligation comes. And in that obligation, one is kind of chalta hai kind of thing with their disciples. Why? Because financial assistance is coming. Therefore, if somebody is giving something, whether to take or not, if that person feels that I am doing upkar on you by giving, never accept. Right? If that person feels it's my necessity, by if you accept, I will be purified. Because that is used in the service of Krishna. If that person feels like that, then one can utilize it in service of Krishna. Otherwise, accepting unnecessarily will lead to obligation. And when such obligation comes, then person is not able to say anything. What if a spiritual master acts in a not as per the scriptures? Should we leave him?
Understand. Maybe it's still conscious that we are understanding why is happening.
How do we understand? So what if you see the spiritual master behaving in a different way, not as per the scriptures? Then should we leave him? Or what to do? Mataji says, we do not know why he is doing like this.
Has happened. Many years. But it's not. It's what it goes to say.
So here, as per the topic, you are telling if it is against the scriptures, then what? Then
they took another guru.
Any thoughts? Yes.
Always recommend to confirm three authorities. They should do fast and hardly. So here the guru is not like acceptable doing something which we don't is against the scripture. So we should confirm it with the scripture also and the sadhus also. Who are the God brothers of them, they know in nature, they can also experience it according to that.
How is that? One is we cannot know, right? That is correct. We do not know. It takes one to know one. So why he's doing what he's doing? How do we know? But we have a doubt. Scripture does not say that. What he's doing. Right? So either we keep quiet or we do not know. Leave him. Or the second thing is, oh no, it's according not as per the scriptures. Because we know the scripture, something, whatever, and this is not as per the scriptures. So reject. But somewhere in the middle, Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So Shastra says something, Guru is doing something. Let's go and ask the another sadhus. At least guide us, tell me. I see it this way, so how do I understand it? Okay.
Prabhuji,
One point is like saying, oh, he's doing like this and pinpointing. Other thing, I need to know what. Right? But according to the scriptural course, a teacher who engages in abominable action and lost his sense of discrimination is fit to be abandoned. Right? So if you have attended IDC course, then there is a different levels are mentioned. That if he breaks this principle, then what action is taken, the warning is given to that guru. And still if he continues, then suspension orders are given. And what a disciple should do at that time, it is mentioned. Do you all know? Yeah. When one can reject a guru, when not to reject, when some time to be given, probation period, even to the guru. Right? Sometimes something happens, right? And immediately just leave. No, that's not the way. We clarify, and if it happens to be the real thing, this has happened, then action will be taken. Some warning is given. Right? Just one warning and corrects himself. It's okay. But in spite of warning continues, then some more action is taken. Final to the suspension. Like that. Now, Arjuna says, न चेतद्विदमा कतरन्न करियो यद्वा जयेम यदि वा न जयेयु यानेव हत्वा न जिजीविषामस्ते अवस्थिता प्रमुखे धार्तराष्ट्रः न च एतद्विदमः कतरत् न गरिय न च एतद् this vidama vidambana do not know what to do katarat naha means for us gariya what is better we do not know what is better na chaitad vidama katarat na gariya we do not know what is better amongst what yadva jayema yadiva na jayayu yadva jayema they should conquer us or yadiva na jayayu or they or we being conquered by them. We do not know whether we should conquer them or we become conquered by them. These two choices. We do not know what is better for us among these two. Yaneva hatva na jijivishamas. Yaneva hatva. Killing home means to the sons of Dhritarashtra. Yaneva hatva na jijivishamas. We would not like to live without them. Like with our uncle's son, if we kill them, we do not want to live without them. Te avasthita pramukhe Dhritarashtra, but they are avasthita means they are situated what in front of us. Dhritarashtra, the sons of Dhritarashtra are in front of us. Killing them, we would not like to leave, but they are still in front of us. So what we have to do? We have to kill them. But even after killing them, we will not like to leave. So in both the ways, there is a loss only for us. One thing is we do not want to kill them, but without killing them, no kingdom will come. And even if the kingdom comes by killing them, we would not like to live, enjoy without them. So both the ways there is a loss only. So we do not know what to do, whether to conquer them or to get conquered by them. Nor do we know which is better, conquering them or being conquered by them. If we kill the sons of Dhritarashtra, we should not care to live. Yet they are now standing before us on the battlefield. Comes the situation, like our children does something wrong and we have to chastise them, but we do not like to chastise them only. A mother arguing or chastising a child and then she starts crying. Why did I do that? Happens, na? Arjuna did not know whether he should fight and risk unnecessary violence, although fighting is the duty of a Kshatriya, or whether he should refrain and live in by begging. If he did not conquer the enemy, begging would be his only means of subsistence. Nor was there certainty of victory, because either side might emerge victorious, even if victory awaited them and their cause was justified. Still, if the sons of Dhritarashtra died in battlefield, it would be very difficult to live in their absence. Under the circumstances, that would be another kind of defeat for them. All these considerations by Arjuna definitely proved that not only was he a great devotee of Lord, but he was also highly enlightened and had complete control over his mind and senses. His desire to live by begging, although he was born in a royal household, is another sign of detachment. He is thinking whether to fight or not to fight. He is ready even to give up fighting if that is better. Who thinks of what is Shreya? The Shreya and prayers, right? What would be better? If I win, what I get, if person thinks from that angle. But here he's thinking what is better. I'm ready to even give up or lose if that is better. So he's thinking from that. So Prabhupada is pointing that thing. He was truly virtuous, as these qualities, combined with his faith in the words of instruction of Krishna, the spiritual master, indicate. It is concluded that Arjuna was quite fit for liberation. Unless the senses are controlled, there is no chance of elevation to the platform of knowledge. And without knowledge and devotion, there is no chance of liberation. Arjuna was competent in all attributes, over and above his enormous attributes in his material relationships. कार्पण्य दोष उपहता स्वभाव पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म समूढ़ चेतः यश्रेयस्य निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेऽहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. So see, he had control over his senses, and then that shows his eligibility and he's in association of Krishna. And then now he's asking Krishna, requesting Krishna to speak. Shishyaste am shadhi mam. Shadhi means what? Not marriage. Shadi. Shadhi mam means tell me. What is the shadhi means? Instruct me. Shadhi mam means instruct me. But how will I instruct you? You are talking in the friendly terms. So he's telling, Shishyaste aham. I have now become your disciple. As your disciple, you instruct me. Shishyaste aham shadi mam tvam prapannam. I am surrendered to you. Yashreya shan nishchitam bruhitan me. Yashreya, whatever is shreya, whatever is good. Syan, whatever is good for me. Nishchitam, for sure you should tell me. Bruhitan me. Bruhi means you say. Please tell me whatever is good. Pruchhami tvam. I am asking you. Pruchhami tvam. I am asking you. Dharma samudha chetaha. In what mood I am asking you? Dharma samudha chetaha. My heart is bewildered in the matter of dharma and adharma. So dharma chetaha, samudha chetaha. Bewildered. My heart is bewildered. Karpanya dosha upahata svabhava. So what is the dosha? What is the bewilderment? Karpanya dosha upahata svabhava. How is my svabhava? Karpanya dosha, miserliness. I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of the miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. This is the turning point. But Arjuna was confused thinking not to fight, deciding not to fight, confused whether to fight or not fight, is now taking shelter of whom? Krishna. That is, see, having confusion, bewilderment is common to all the human beings. Even Arjuna, to say, is confused. So, what to speak of us? It's going to happen. But what is being taught by this Krishna and Arjuna, by Arjuna's situation, is Arjuna is taking shelter now. He's approaching spiritual master. That's what Prabhupada picks up. Approaching spiritual master is the important thing. Bewilderment in this world is a natural thing. It will come. Nobody can say, I know every situation how to handle in life. Right? And when one becomes ISKCON devotee, then to forget. Then he has answer to all. Right? But even devotee needs at all times the help. So then what is the best approach? Is spiritual master. Spiritual master means Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru? Whomever we can approach. Both are Guru. Whomever we can approach. If one can approach Diksha Guru, no problem. One who is comfortable with. Point is approaching. See, Prabhupada, how beautifully he writes. See the purport. By nature's own way, the complete system of material activities is a source of perplexity for everyone. By nature's own way, is always perplexed. In every step, there is a perplexity. And therefore, it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master who can give one proper guidance and execute the purpose of life. All Vedic literature advises us to approach the bona fide spiritual master to get free from the perplexities of the life which happen without our desire. See, the perplexity of life happens without our desire. So it behooves one to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Tad vidhi pani pratena pariprashnena sevaya. 3.34. Approach spiritual master. They are like a forest fire that what is like a forest fire? The perplexities of life, not spiritual master. They are like a forest fire that somehow blazes without being set by anyone. Similarly, the world situation is such that perplexities of the life automatically appears without our wanting such confusion. No one wants fire, and yet it takes place and we become perplexed. The Vedic wisdom therefore advises that in order to solve the perplexities of life and to understand the signs of solution, one must approach a spiritual master who is in the disciplic succession. A person with a bona fide spiritual master is supposed to know everything. One should not therefore remain in material perplexities, but should approach a spiritual master. This is the purport of this verse. Be very clear. Purport of this verse. The important point of this verse is what? So if you are asked, write the practical application of this verse. What does this mean? So do not say that, oh, Arjuna is now approaching whom? Krishna is surrendering. The life is such that somehow other problem will come. And what do we have to do during such problem? Approach the spiritual master. First analyze, are we practicing seriously or not? Because most of the time we do not practice, then naturally problems will be there. But if you are practicing nicely, even after practicing, some situation we may not understand. Approach spiritual master. The Kripana. I'll take this one. See now, Prabhupada is now talking about the Kripana. Karpanya dosha upata svabhava. He's now analyzing the word kripana. Who is kripana? A kripana or miserly person waste their time in being overly affectionate for the family, society, country, etc. in the material conception of life. One who is often attached to the family life, namely to the wife, children, and other members on the basis of skin disease. See, attachment is not wrong, but on the basis of skin disease. The Kripana thinks that he is able to protect his family members from death, or the Kripana thinks that his family or society can save him from the verge of death. Such family attachment can be found even in the lower animals, who take care of the children also. Being intelligent, Arjuna could understand that his affection for the family members and his wish to protect them from the death were the cause of his perplexities. Although he could understand that his duty to fight was awaiting him, still on the account of miserly weakness, he could not discharge the duty. He is therefore asking Arjuna, Lord Krishna, the supreme spiritual master, to make a definite solution. He offers himself to Krishna as a disciple. He wants to talk friendly talks. Talks between the master and the disciples are serious. And now Arjuna wants to talk very seriously before the recognized spiritual master. So that's how, so everybody has attachments, right? But when these attachments are based on the bodily concept, right? Not having Krishna in the center. Like sometimes people say that, oh, my family members are like, they are like obstacle in devotional service, right? And they blame whom? For their not practicing, they blame whom? Family member. And they say that, oh, because of them, I'm not able to go and chant or participate in a function and all. Isn't it? But then the responsibilities are there. But somebody who, even if they have time or they can adjust, they give excuse as a family member. I have a duty to do. That's fine. But then how much? How much? So that's how that's balancing. The striking that balance is important. Somebody can just overlook and then participate in the functions and spirituality. That is also wrong, because overlooking, not fulfilling the responsibility. And somebody can overdo and not practice spirituality and in giving excuse as a family member. But that is what their attachment. Nahi prapashyami mamapanodhyad yachokamuchoshanamindriyana avapya bhumo asapatnam riddham rajam suranam apichadipatyam. Nahi prapashyami, prapashyami, ishyami, I can see. Nahi, I cannot see. Nahi prapashyami mama apanudya, that can drive away. Yash shokam, what can shoka? Uchoshanam indriyana, which is drying my indriyas. I cannot see what can drive away the shoka which has covered me up. Nahi prapashyami mama apanudya yash shokam uchoshanam indriyana avapya bhuma. Avapya bhuma. So on this earth, even if I achieve asapatnam riddham. Asapatnam riddham means without any rival, if I get a prosperous kingdom, rajyam suranam abhichadipatyam, the kingdom of the demigods, with the supremacy of a kingdom of the demigods, still that cannot drive away my shoka. I cannot find no means to drive away the grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on the earth with a sovereignty like the demigods in the heaven. So Prabhupada here is telling, see, Arjuna understands that even if he gets the war is going on, war is going for what? Kingdom. So he's telling, even if I get a kingdom, forget this kingdom, even if I get the kingdom of the demigods, but even demigods has the demons who are, sometimes they fight. Demigods and the Rakshasas, they fight. So he's telling that even if I get the kingdom of the demigod with no competitor, nobody to fight. Still, I will not be happy. And I see that it will not drive away my shoka. Nahi prapashyami. I cannot see that what can drive away my perplexities. Even if I get a kingdom without any rivalry of that of the demigods, still my grief will not go. That's the beauty. Because the people who kind of attach to the family or the things of this world, they think that इसको थोड़ा सुधार लेता हूँ. Let me settle these things. हाँ, एक बार जॉब सेट हो जाए, एक बार फैमिली बेटी की शादी हो जाए, हाँ, एक बार जॉब अच्छे लग जाए, एक बार घर बन जाए, then I will perform devotional service. But Arjuna is telling, even if that happens, his kingdom is also achieved, great kingdom is achieved without rival, still my shoka will not go. Why? Because the problem is not this thing. Problem is what? Problem is the identity, real ignorance of that I am not the soul. That misidentification. That's the problem. Although Arjuna was putting forward so many arguments based on the knowledge of the principles of the religion and the moral code, it appears that he was unable to solve his real problem without the help of the spiritual master, Lord Sri Krishna. See, he was putting forward the argument based on the knowledge of the principles of religious and moral code. He was not just putting argument based on his mind. मूड नहीं हो रहा है. I don't like to जॉब जाने की इच्छा नहीं हो रही है. Today people have mental problem. इच्छा नहीं होती है प्रभु जी. जाने जैसा लगता नहीं है. He's not talking of इच्छा अनिच्छा. He's taking what will be good according to the moral codes. धर्मशास्त्र से स्पीच बड़ों को नहीं मारना चाहिए. See, he's talking from religious codes of conduct. And still, after talking from that, he's saying he could understand that his so-called knowledge was useless in driving up his problem, which were drying up his whole existence. And it was impossible for him to solve his perplexities without the help of his spiritual master, like Lord Krishna. Now, Prabhupada is telling, academic knowledge, scholarship, high position, etc. are all useless in solving the problems of life. Help can be given only by the spiritual master like Krishna. Therefore, the conclusion is that the spiritual master who is 100% Krishna conscious is the bona fide spiritual master, for he can solve the problems of life. Lord Chaitanya said. So now, from this verse, we can understand that Arjuna is telling nothing can solve the problem. Even if I get the Rajya and all. So, therefore, approaching a spiritual master is inevitable. We have to approach. Now, question arises, who is the spiritual master? The Prabhupada is saying, who is the spiritual master? He's quoting, Lord Chaitanya said that one who is a master in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his social position, is a real spiritual master. Regardless of his social position. In the social position, he may be sannyasi, he may be brahmana, he may be shudra. Does not matter. What matters is he should know Krishna. Kiba vipra, kiba nyasi, shudra kena nai. Yehi Krishna tattva vetta sehi guru hoy. It does not matter whether person is a vipra, that is a Vedic scholar in Vedic wisdom, or born in a lower family or in a renounced order of life. If he is a master in the science of Krishna, he is a perfect and bona fide spiritual master. So in ISKCON, who are the gurus? Grihastha or sannyasi? Huh? See, Mataji was telling sannyasi. Then you realize, see? Because generally when you say guru means sannyasi, right? But in ISKCON we have even the Grihastha. You may not have seen, but it is fact. Grihastha is also guru. Why? Because it's mentioned here. Kiba vipra kiba nyasi. Shudra kena no hai. Yehi Krishna tattva vetta sehi guru hai. So you all can become spiritual master? Can become, right? Do you want to become? Yes. So what does Chaitanya Mahaprabhu say? Amar agya hoya guru hoyi. Amaragya, it's my order, you all become fools. And preach the message. Of course, if somebody says you want to become, then we should not say, yes, I want to become. Then that will be disqualification. Of course, when you said yes, I mean to say, on the order of. But somebody says, you want to become spiritual master. So what is that? You want to take the responsibility, but not the position. Okay. Verse 9. You like to repeat with me or should I read only? You like to see, I read the verse, right? And translation. So would you like to recite the verse with me? So then we will take, whenever I read, we'll recite. Okay, verse 9. Sanjay Uvacha Evam Uktva Rishikesham Gudakesha Parantapa Nayotsya iti Govindam Uktva Tushnim Babuvaha. Having spoken this, Arjuna, chastiser of enemies, told Krishna, Govinda, I shall not fight, and fell silent. Evam, in this way, Uktva Rishikesham. Uktva means spoke unto whom? Rishikesham. Gudakesha Parantapaha. Two names of Arjuna, Gudakesha and Parantapa. Na yotsya, will not fight. Iti Govindam. I will not fight, O Govinda. Uktva Tushnim Babuvaha. Saying this, he became silent. That means he decided. Huh? I will not fight, he decided. See, before this, Krishna just told him, because he sat down. And Krishna, out of compassion, told him, Baba, where from this contamination has come? Come on, get up, fight. But then he's applying his brain. How can I fight with my own gurus and all? And then he's giving all the reason. How can I fight? Great soul says that Guru Natva, one should not kill the great soul, even if they are desiring for the wealth. But one should not kill them. Like this he's telling. But then he's getting confused. The more argument he's placing, he's not satisfied. So he says that I cannot understand whether to fight, kill them or not to, whether to fight, not fight. And then finally he says, I leave it to you, Krishna, please guide me. And in that way saying, he does not fight. I will not fight. Dhritarashtra must have been very glad to understand that Arjuna was not going to fight and was instead leaving the battlefield for begging profession. But Sanjay disappointed him again in relating that Arjuna was competent to kill his enemies. That is Parantapa. See the word Sanjay is telling that Parantapa. Why he used the word Parantapa? Because he's telling to the Dhritarashtra. He's telling to the Dhritarashtra that he was competent to kill his enemies. Arjuna was competent to kill his enemy. Although Arjuna was for the time being overwhelmed with the false grief due to the family affection, he surrendered unto Krishna, the spiritual master, as a disciple. This indicated that he would soon be freed from the false lamentation resulting from the family affection and would be enlightened with perfect knowledge of self-realization or Krishna consciousness and would then surely fight. Thus, Dhritarashtra's joy would be frustrated since Arjuna would be enlightened by Krishna and would fight to the end. Na yotsya iti Govinda uktva tushnim babuha. Evam uktva Rishikesham. Unto Rishikesh. So Rishikesh means one who is controller of senses. So now he is going to drive, Krishna is going to drive the senses of Arjuna. Okay. Verse 10. Tamuvacha Rishikeshaha Prasanna Iva Bharata Senayor Ubhayor Madhye Vishidam Midam Vachaha. O descendant of Bharata, at that time Krishna, smiling in the midst of both the army, spoke the following words to the grief-stricken Arjuna. Why Krishna is smiling? Prabhupada says that because this Arjuna who was now acting like a friend decided to become a disciple. Right? So Arjuna is just kind of smiling. But he did not laugh. Why? Because what will Arjuna think? Huh? Therefore, he just simply smiled. Verse 11. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ashochayananvashocastvam Prajnavadamscha bhasase Gatasu nagatasuncha Nanushocanti pandita अशोचयान अन्वशोचस्त्वम, जो शोक करने के लायक नहीं उसके ऊपर आप शोक कर रहे हैं. अशोचयान, one which is not to be, not worthy of lamentation. Ashochayan anvashochastvam, but you are lamenting. Lamenting on what? On what is not worthy of lamentation. Ashochayan anvashochastvam. And while lamenting, you are talking big things. प्रज्ञा वादम से भाषसे, कैसी भाषा बोल रहे हैं? प्रज्ञा, पंडिताई की बातें कर रहे हैं. हाँ, जिसके ऊपर शोक नहीं करना चाहिए आप उसके ऊपर शोक कर रहे हो. एंड व्हाट आर यू आर टॉकिंग? बातें कैसी कर रहे हैं? पंडित जैसी. गतासुन अगतासुंश्च. गत आसन, आसन मीन्स व्हाट? लाइफ. गत मीन्स गॉन. गत आसन Agatasunsa, from where the life is gone and from where the life is not gone, means from the body and the soul. Gatasun, Agatasunsa, means for the body and the soul. Nanu Sochanti Pandita. The Pandita do not, what they do not do? Anu Sochanti, they do not lament. For what? For the body and the soul. From where the life is gone and from the life is not gone. From where the life is gone? Body. Right? So for the body and the soul, Pandita does not lament. But you are lamenting. You are lamenting, but you are talking big things like a Pandita. So see, after Arjuna offered himself as a disciple, what was the first words Krishna spoke? 11th verse. Right? See, Arjuna, he surrendered in which verse? 8th verse. No. Shishyastham shadi mam tam prapan. Shishyastham, I am your disciple. He says, shadi mam, instruct me. That is verse number 7. And then he says, I cannot see nobody than you. Right? I cannot see no one than you. That is in the 8th verse. And then Sanjay says in verse 9. And then Sanjay says that unto him, Krishna, as if smiling, he then spoke. Then comes the Gita actual. Second chapter actually starts. Krishna speaks now. So now this verse 11, Krishna is speaking. What is the first verse he's telling? Ashochayan anvasochastam. Of course, in the first chapter, in the second chapter, Krishna spoke, but at that time Arjuna had not surrendered. Out of his own mercy, Krishna spoke. Kutastva kashmalamidam. Right? But when Arjuna surrendered, at the time this 11th verse was spoken. 11th onwards. And there Krishna is giving him the knowledge in the 3 verses that you are lamenting for something which is not worth of lament. Right? She says, Asochananva sochastam prajnavadam sabhasate gatasun agatasun nanu sochanti pandita. Prabhupada mentions, it will be clear that knowledge means to know the matter and the spirit and the controller of both. Arjuna argued that religious principles should be given more importance than the politics of sociology. But he did not know that the knowledge of matter, soul, and the supreme is even more important than the religious formularies. And because he was lacking in that knowledge, he should not have posed himself a very learned man. As he did not happen to be a very learned man, he was consequently lamenting for something which was unworthy of lamentation. The body is born and is destined to be vanquished today or tomorrow. Therefore, the body is not as important as the soul. One who knows this is actually learned, and for him there is no cause of lamentation, regardless of his condition, of the condition Verse 12. Na tu eva aham jatunasam nvatam naime janadhipa na cheva bhavishyamaha sarve vayamata param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any one of us cease to be. It's a beautiful verse. Na tu eva aham. Na, never. Tu eva aham. Jatu, at any time. Na asam. Awesome nahi. Asam. Asam means exist. Na asam, does not exist. Never was there a time when you, all these kinsmen, or I did not exist. Means what? You always existed. See, we is talking in a na. Never was there a time. Na tu eva aham. Na tu eva aham. Na tu aham. Na ime. Never was there a time when you, nor this, nor me, not existed. What means? Are you getting the point? Never was there a time when you, nor this, nor me, not existed. Means what? We all existed. Simply bolna chahiye na. Why is taking? Never was there a time when you not existed, not. But we all existed, right? You all had prasad, lunch prasad today. Is there anyone who has not eaten? See, hands are raised. If suppose he has not raised the hand, that means what? When I ask, is there anyone who has not eaten? And if nobody raises the hand, means what? Each and everyone has eaten. But when I say that everyone has eaten the prasad, all of you said what? Yes. But then one person might be there. In that case, there might be one person. As like you see here, the example only. When I said everybody ate, everybody said. But when I asked, is there anyone who has not eaten? One person raised the hand. See, just right now. So Krishna does not want to give ever a chance for anybody to say this. हो सकता है इक्का दुक्का रह जाए तो जनरल बोलते हैं ना सब लोग हमेशा से है. See, this quoting this example only, some people have told this. You see, when Krishna says we all were there, every time existed. But then logically, there may be somebody ekka dukka jo kabhi. So to remove that doubt, Krishna is saying, never was there a time when you this not existed. So everyone is taken into consider. Na cheva bhavishyamaha. Even in the future. Na past, present or future. Everything is given. Na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atha param. And henceforth. It's very clear. So Prabhupada is quoting from the Katha Upanishad. He's quoting this Upanishad, or no, Katha Upanishad also from Shvetashvatara Upanishad. He quotes Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidatati Kaman Tam Atmastham Ye Anupashyanti Dhiras Tesham Shantim Shashwati Na Itaresham. The same Vedic truth is given to Arjuna, is given to all the persons in the world who pose themselves as very learned but factually have but a poor fund of knowledge. The Lord says clearly that He Himself, Arjuna, and all the kings who are assembled on the battlefields are eternally individual beings, and that the Lord is eternally the maintainer of the individual living entities, both in their condition and in their liberated situation. Okay, now, after this, Prabhupada says that the Mayavadi theory that after liberation, the individual soul separated by the covering of Maya or illusion will merge into impersonal Brahman and lose its individual existence is not supported herein by Krishna, the supreme authority. Nor is the theory that we only think of individuality in the conditioned state supported herein. See, somebody may say that this individuality which is being spoken, that we all exist in the past, present, and the future, this is applicable in conditioned life. Somebody may argue, Mayavadis may argue, that this individuality is in conditioned state. But when we become eternal or in the realized state, this does not remain. Somebody may argue. So Krishna clearly says herein that in the future also, the individuality of the Lord and others, as it is confirmed in the Upanishad, will continue eternal. So Krishna is not only taking in the present state, but in the future also. He's clear. The statement of Krishna is authoritative because Krishna cannot be subject to illusion. If individuality were not a fact, then Krishna would not have stressed this so much, even for the future. The Mayavadi may argue that the individuality spoken of the Krishna is not spiritual, but material. Even accepting the argument that the individuality is material, then how one can distinguish Krishna's individuality? Because Krishna is including himself also in that. He's including himself also in that. So then how can one understand Krishna's individuality? Krishna affirms his individuality in the past and confirms his individuality in the future also. He has confirmed his individuality in many ways, and impersonal Brahman has been declared to be subordinate to him. Krishna has maintained spiritual individuality all along. If he is accepted as an ordinary conditioned soul in the individual consciousness, then his Bhagavad Gita has no value as authoritative scripture. So if somebody says that we are all conditioned souls, whoever has been spoken, then what about Krishna? If Krishna is also a conditioned soul, then what is the value of his Bhagavad Gita then? A common man with all four defects of human frailty is unable to teach that which is worth hearing. The Gita is above such literature. No mundane book compares with the Bhagavad Gita. When one accepts Krishna as an ordinary man, the Gita loses all importance. The Mayavadis argue that the plurality mentioned in this word is conventional and that it refers to the body. Now, the second argument, which Mayavadis may say, that this individuality which is mentioned here, or the plurality, you, me, and all, this plurality mentioned in this verse is conventional. In a conventional matter, it is mentioned, and that it refers to the body. Somebody may argue that. But then, Prabhupada here says that, that previous to this verse, such bodily concept is already condemned. Already, Krishna condemned Arjuna's lamentation on the bodily aspect of life. So then, why would Krishna again point out about this conventional meaning? Why would he do that? After condemning the bodily conception of living entities, how was it possible for Krishna to place a conventional proposition on the body again? Therefore, individuality is maintained on the spiritual grounds and is thus confirmed by the great acharyas like Ramanujacharya and others. It is clearly mentioned in many places in Gita that this spiritual individuality is understood by those who are devotees of the Lord. Those who are envious of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead have no bona fide access to the great literature. The non-devotees' approach to the teachings of the Gita is sometimes like that of a bee licking on a bottle of honey. One cannot have a taste of honey unless one opens the bottle. Similarly, the mysticism of the Bhagavad Gita can be understood only by the devotees, and no one else can taste it, as it is stated in the 4th chapter of the book. Nor can the Gita be touched by the person who envy the very existence of the Lord. Therefore, the Mayavadi explanation of the Gita is most misleading presentation of the whole truth. Lord Chaitanya has forbidden us to read commentations made by the Mayavadis and warns that one who takes to such an understanding of the Mayavadi philosophy loses all power to understand the real misery of the Gita. Very strongly, Prabhupada is telling here, if we read Mayavad Bhashya, then it will be very difficult for us to understand. If individuality, then third argument, if individuality refers to the empirical universe, then there is no need of the teaching by the Lord. The plurality of the individual soul and of the Lord is an eternal fact, and it is confirmed by the Vedas as above mentioned. In this way, there are three arguments Prabhupada has given here. It's given by the Acharyas only, previous Acharyas, and then it refuted systematically. Verse 13, Dehinosmin yatha dehe
Prabhuji, can I,
Komaram yovanam jara
Prabhuji, can I ask a question?
तथा देहांतर प्राप्ति धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति. Anybody raised here?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
These three arguments that you gave, can you just give us in some simplified form? This was a little heavy to understand in whatever manner in what's been written here. Can you just explain in a more simplified form as to these three arguments of the Mayavadis?
Okay. Can I send you by
Yes,
voice message?
yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
Will that do?
Yes, Prabhuji.
You can just send me a WhatsApp message. I will reply.
Okay, Prabhuji. WhatsApp on your number only, no?
Yes, yes.
Okay, Prabhuji. I'll do that. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Dehinosmin yatha dehe. What do you mean by deha? Dehinaha. Who is inside the body? Dehina asmin yatha dehe. So, Dehina means the soul. Asmin, in this body, yatha, as dehe, Komaram Yovanam Jara, passes from Komar to the youth, to the old age. Tatha, in that way, Deha Antara, Dehantara, the transference. Dehantara Prapti, it achieves what? The transference of the body. Dhiras Tatrana Muhyati. Who does not get bewildered by that or deluded by that? Dhira. Since every living entity is an individual soul, each is changing his body every moment, manifesting sometimes as a child, sometimes as a youth, and sometimes as an old man. Yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. Have you ever experienced in our own body that it has changed a lot? Huh? But still, when we see that youth or that very old, very young person, we still feel that, oh yeah, it's the me only. Only body has changed. We can understand that it's me only body has changed. So Prabhupada is here is telling, yet the same spirit soul is there and does not undergo any change. This individual soul finally changes the body at the death and transmigrates to another body, and since it is sure to have another body in the next birth, either material or spiritual, there was no cause for lamentation by Arjuna on the account of the death, neither for Bhishma nor for the Drona, for whom he was so much concerned. Rather, he should rejoice for their changing bodies from old to new ones, because thereby rejuvenating their energy. Such changes of the body account for the varieties of enjoyment or suffering according to one's work on life. So Bhishma and Drona, being noble souls, were surely going to have spiritual bodies in the next life, or at least life in heavenly bodies for superior enjoyment of the material existence. So in either case, there was no cause of lamentation. Is there any cause for lamentation? They are getting new body. So it's a good thing, na? No? They will get a new body, rejuvenated body with new energy. So what to do with the old body? Huh? Discard, yeah. So it's a good thing or wrong thing, bad thing? Huh? Good thing. See, for parents who have become old, if they are dying and we say that, oh yeah, good, let the body, old body go and the new body, rejuvenated body.
In some cases, when they suffer and not some people say that it's that.
Or really, when they are suffering, people say that, no, it's better you leave.
When someone has very painful last few days.
Yeah, but what the people want? Their descendant, what they want?
Yes, attachment.
It's attachment. Whose attachment? Our attachment, whether you suffer or not, but what will happen to my attachment? Huh? See, people are lamenting, means they do not want them to go. Why? Because attachment. I want you. But somebody may understand also that suffering unnecessary should leave. But it's good to tell Baba, leave. It's not also good, na? Bhai, मर जा अच्छा है. It's not a good way to say, right? But if we ponder upon, see, this person is suffering. His body is there. What is our duty? To stop medication so that new body comes? No. So what is our responsibility? We have to play that role. And we cannot be like indifferent because we know the philosophy. So why should lament? But that what that person needs. How will that person, if that person find that this person has nothing to do, he's so advanced, they will not think he's advanced, therefore he's not lamenting. What they will say? Yes, he's heartless. That's what the message goes. Even if you understand and we do not lament or pose a grave, but that is heartless. So then we impose how? We should do drama of like, oh, I am attached. You see? Attachment is natural when it comes to our own people. But when we are ingrained in the scriptures, we at least know the reality. And we see what is beneficial for that person. Not that we stop the medication, because life should go on. Life should go on. But then, if it takes a different turn, one should not overly lament. Understanding that person will get a new body. And for our own attachment, we should not prolong unnecessarily. That's why in a hospice, what they say, people come and say, Baba, it's time to go. Don't hold on. What fear you have about your children? We'll take care. Like this, they are being told. Why? Because they are holding that life. Iska kya hoga, uska kya hoga. So they have to be told. But the family is so attached, how can they tell? Baba, you leave, we'll take care. They don't want them to leave. So then hospice people, these expert doctors, they understand, they tell. Matra sparshastu kaunteya शीत उष्ण सुख दुःखदा आगमापायिनो नित्यास् तां स्थितिक्ष्व स भारत मात्रा स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेय sensory perception only, O son of Kunti. It's all what? Sensory perception. Shita, Ushna, Sukha, Dukkada. Just like the changing of the season. Happiness and distress are just like the changing of the season. It's just a sensory perception. What is the sensory perception? What is the sense? Huh? No. What is the sense? It's a sensory perception only. What is the sensory perception? Of course, 5 senses and the perception that we receive is a sensory perception. So what is the sensory perception of what is being spoken here? about the happiness and distress. Happiness and distress in this world is only a what? Sensory perception. It's just like a changing season. The season comes and goes. So the happiness also comes and goes. It is just a sensory perception. See, matra means what here? Prabhupada says, matra, like what does the senses do? How much, how soft this is, right? The senses, how taste this product is. So कितनी मात्रा में कितनी खुशी मिल रही है? Measurement, मात्रा है ना, measurement, you know, कितनी मात्रा है ना, मात्रा. So measurement. So what does the senses do? Always measures. What does it measure? How much happiness or distress is there in this? Like you see somebody, कैसी लगी? कैसा लगा? Measure किया ना? Somebody measured, right? Eyes or whatever. Huh? Similarly, the tongue. What did they do? Measure, matra. So here matra means senses. Right? Matra sparshaha. The sense perception is all based on matra, senses. What? Shita ushna sukha dukhada. Happiness and distress in this world is just a sensory perception. How it is? Agama, it comes, agam, uska agam hota hai. It comes at one point, right? And apaina. Agama, apaina, agam, it comes and goes. Does it remain forever? What does not remain forever? And just like a changing, how the season comes, first comes and then peaks, then goes down. So the happiness also comes, goes up, peak, and then goes down. Just like a new mobile, latest mobile. Your phone got kind of misplaced or something, and then you are hankering, looking for, and the new phone, after researching everything you get, and then all the features, oh, this feature is there, then increasing. Happiness is increasing. And then as the time passes, nothing in you. Full. Memories full. Ho jata hai na? So like, from the peak, then it dwindles. Old model. So many years pass, now it's old model. The happiness, it decreases. And then the pain starts. Something happens, network not catching or something. So it's like happiness, like a changing season. Comes and goes. Agama, apaino, anityas. It's not permanent. Anitya. Similarly, person in the life, new relationship. How is that? Very beautiful. That first embrace. Huh? So then the mind, it just like there was one person who never saw a girl in life. And once that person comes, only then the rain would happen in that Ayodhya. Seen that? What is his name? Rishyashingra. So his father did not allow him to see any opposite sex in the life. Kept him in jungle only. See, if somebody has not seen the opposite sex, then no problem, na? See, the attachment comes when you experience something. Like if I tell you, how is that tilika? Have you eaten tilika? Oh, you're not eaten? Oh, it's so sweet, so nice, so juicy. I'm thinking, what's that? Because it does not exist only. You have not tested only, na? Even I have not tested. But suppose if somebody has tasted it, then what happens? Attachment, rag, attachment. Oh, then one remembers and then, So this person has never seen only opposite gender. So then what? He will kind of attach to. So then what happened? This person was needed in the kingdom. So they said that if his father is there, he'll become angry if some lady goes there then. So then the king calls some best of the ladies and says that you go and entice him. So what does the ladies do? They went there and his father is not there. And he's like seeing, oh, who are this new like species? And they look different. They are not like me. They have something on their like a breast and all. They look different. I don't understand. Because she's very naive. And then this lady is purposely, how they wish him? By embrace. Tight embrace. And then naturally some beautiful girl touches, something happens. Current passed in his body. And he experienced, sees anything. You eat anything, you see anything, either it will be a good experience or bad experience. If it is a good experience, then person wants that experience, repeat. And if it is a bad experience, then dvesh, raga and dvesh is a part of life. So this, when they embrace nicely, tightly, this person felt like different. And how would that experience will be? Of course, good, na? And then they left. And then whole night he could not sleep. Why? Rag, attachment, he's remembering that. And he wants it more. That's the nature of this world. And then next day he again goes there. And then he wants to embrace. But they said that no, you have to come to our place. And then he goes there. And then the rain starts coming. So anyway, the point is, agama apaino anityas. It's not permanent. Anything in this world is not permanent. Why? Because this happiness, one which experience, it's a real experience, right? But it's peaks up. When it comes, peaks up and then dwindles. There's nothing new. So agama apaino anityas. So then what to do? Question is what to do. So what Krishna is telling? Tam titiksha sa bharata. One just has to tolerate. One just has to tolerate. Tolerate what? Happiness also tolerate and distress also tolerate. So like Prabhupada here is telling, the proper discharge of a duty, one has to learn to tolerate non-permanent appearance and disappearance of happiness and distress. According to Vedic injunction, one has to take his bath early in the morning, even during the month of Magh. It is very cold at the time, but in spite of that, a man who abides by the religious principle does not hesitate to take his bath. Similarly, a woman does not hesitate to cook in the kitchen in the month of May and June, the hottest part of this summer season. One has to execute his duty in spite of climatic inconvenience. Similarly, to fight is the religious principle of the Kshatriya, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from this prescribed duty. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principle in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge, because by knowledge and devotion only can one liberate himself from the clutches of Maya. So you see, happiness and distress everyone will experience some either pleasure or pain, whatever you do. How many of you here experience pleasure in chanting? Experience distress in chanting? Sometimes happiness, sometimes pain. Right? So should we stop? Huh? No, chanting. See, what's going on in the mind is when it will stop. And when should we stop then? Connection is there. Huh? Yes, Prabhu. Huh? Yes, please. Yes. So, where were we? About happiness and distress and the responsibilities. Certain things, the things in this world is always, it will either give you pleasure or pain. But Prabhupada is here telling is, we don't have to look whether we get a pleasure or pain. What should we look into? What is our duty? What am I supposed to do at this point of time? I'm happy Mehta ji At this time, she knows she has to leave, so she's frankly told, should I leave? Yeah, so that's how, what is my duty now? What should be done? That all one has to see.
Prabhuji,
Yes,
can I ask a question?
yes,
Prabhuji?
please.
Now, here in this paragraph, you just said that to fight is the religious principle of Kshatriyas, and although one has to fight with some friend or relative, one should not deviate from his prescribed. One has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. Now, here it is being specified that you have to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of religious principles in order to rise up to the platform of knowledge. But in the two previous verses, wherein he said that as per his rules and regulations of religious principles, he did not wish to fight his grandfather and his teacher. Now, aren't these two contradictory?
Okay, good question. This question is, here it is mentioned that one has to follow the prescribed rules and regulations of the religious principle in order to rise to the platform of knowledge. Right? And in the previous, it was mentioned that one has to go beyond this, the religious principle. And based on the religious principle, he was thinking not to fight. Because Dharma Shastra, religious principle, according to religious principle, if somebody was senior, one should not fight. But here, Prabhupada is telling that one has to follow the religious principles. So that is the question, right? So, any thoughts?
This principle is like the process which you have to follow to be a better person. But then you have like in the time of crisis or confusion, your duty becomes more of a person than for it.
Okay. The time of crisis? Yes. Good.
We here getting spoken by Pella basic that is of Nisha and then ultimately it is like what Lord is saying. That is the
Yes. First is Niti Shastra, right? And then there is a Dharma Shastra. So Niti Shastra tells about rules and regulations. Then there is a Dharma Shastra, which is above that. And then there is a devotional Shastra, right? So one is, as long as we are in this body, we have to follow the Varnashram system. What is as per my Varna, what is I am supposed to do. But when it comes to the devotional, that is beyond the Varna and Ashram. So when we have, like as a Kshatriya, its Varnashram duty is to fight. Right? So here he's talking about as a duty of Varna and Ashram. As per the Varna and Ashram, even if one does not like to kill, like Kshatriya has to fight. So killing. So even if one does not like to kill, but still because he is a Kshatriya, he has to do that. Right? Now beyond this is the devotional aspect. When if Krishna is willing, is asking us to fight, then what we have to do? Then we have to fight. So one has to understand that. Different levels. Is that okay, Prabhu?
I'm saying when Krishna asks, yes, it's a different thing. But at both times, we are comparing with religious duties. So, religious duties, in this case, he's saying you must go as per your religious duties. And the other case, it didn't advise him to go as per his religious duties. That's what is a little confusing. I understand that, yes, when Krishna asked him to fight, it's a different thing. But till then, Krishna hadn't asked him to fight. He was still following his religious duties by not wanting to fight with his grandfather and with his guru.
Yeah. So in the previous, like if you see the reason for which he does not want to fight was because of the bodily connection and attachment to his guru and the elderly people. Though he was quoting from the Shastra, that the Shastra says, Dharma Shastra says, that higher than the economics and this part, one should look into the humanity aspect, forgiveness principle, right? That is Dharma Shastra. So that is fine as per the scriptures. It has applicability. But when here Arjuna is talking, he is talking because of the attachment. And he is neglecting his duty as a Kshatriya. Right? And Prabhupada says that even if they are family members, still it is his duty as a Kshatriya to punish if they are going against the Dharma. So when Krishna is speaking, he is talking from the scriptural point. It's not like Krishna talks something, wizardly, something, whatever he wants. No. Whatever Krishna says, that is Dharma. Because Dharma comes from Krishna. So whatever he says, he is the Dharma. Got it? Any other questions before we end? Yes.
Starting with the chapter, we saw Krishna says to Arjuna that your compassion is very good or weakness of your heart. But at the same time, we also hear that compassion is one of the important features. So how to understand is when our compassion falls into which quadrant? It is falling the compassion quadrant, or it is falling the weakness of heart. How to understand it in our practice?
Okay. So in practical life, how to understand the compassion, whether it falls in the as a weakness of heart or is it a real compassion? It depends upon whom we are compassionate upon. If we are compassionate to the devotees of the Lord or to the innocent people and giving the message of Krishna, because this compassion is coming from whom? All the qualities are coming from whom? Krishna. So if we are compassionate to the needy, poor people, very good. And we want to give what? Krishna. Right? And if we are compassionate to our own father, mother, brother, sister, and there is somebody who is very poor, not having food to eat also, and we are feeding our own family member, not knowing this family member is a responsibility given to me by my spiritual by Krishna, not knowing that